Hey everyone, it's Melody with Design by Melody. I am here with a Project Life spread for you today. So this is actually from, let's see, May of 2016. So this is my title page for May 2016. And I'm actually using my stash kit number 3 from 2017. And if you've been with me for a while, then you'll know that I created a stash kit. Actually, I created 3 stash kits in 2017. This just happens to be the 3rd one. I've already killed the other 2 and put them away back into my stash and filed all the layouts and everything. And now I still have this 3rd one that I never actually truly killed because I ended up getting busy last fall. So I'm just rolling it into 2018 and I'm going to work with it until I'm done with it. And as you can see, there are a lot of elements and cards and everything else still available in this kit. So this kit was primarily a Project Life focused kit, and as you can see I have all these cards here, and what I did is I pulled out all the Studio Calico cards I had in my stash. And since I put this kit together, I've actually gotten more Studio Calico cards, so funny enough I still have more in my stash, but at the time I pulled out all the ones that I had and put them in this kit, and then I also pulled out a photo play collection kit and put it in this this large stash kit as well. And that photo play kit was primarily a cut apart kit, so it had a whole bunch of 12 by 12 papers, but on I think maybe all but 2 papers, or maybe even all but 1 paper, the back sides of the papers were cut apart, and then one side would be like a pattern paper. So that really could be a Project Life kit as well, but I've kind of used that part of this kit as kind of like my wild card in a sense. So if I feel like doing a 12 by 12 layout or an 8.5 by 11 layout, I use those papers, those 12 by 12 cut apart papers to be my background. So I've kind of gotten a really good variety of things from this kit in particular, things that I wasn't necessarily thinking I would get. I thought I was going to do almost all Project Life pages. I've probably done almost half other pages and half Project Life pages. So every time I use the stash kit, I make sure to include all the links in the description box below to all of the different pages that I've made with this kit. So if you're interested in seeing those, make sure you go check it out below. And I know it's taken me a while to flip through these cards, but once I flip through everything, I don't go back to them. So I kind of do it at the beginning, lay out everything that's kind of grabs my attention to begin with, and then I just go with it. So I think it's worth taking the time at the very beginning for me to kind of sort through the cards and figure out exactly what I want. Now, for a while there, I was cutting that part out of my process videos, but I thought that it might be interesting to someone to see that part, so I went ahead and left it in. I always use on my title cards, I always use the calendar card from LA Studio, so that's what that May 2016 card is. And then true to my regular design, I have been including on the 4x6 cards, if it's not a photo, I have been making my 4x6 cards with the white borders because I just like the look of having the white borders. It helps it stay pretty cohesive, so regardless of what other colors I'm using on the layout, I feel like having those white borders just kind of breaks up the colors and the patterns, and it also just gives it a consistent element across the page. So, and as you can see, I'm not entirely strict about it. So like that white and red checked pattern there, it does go all the way to the edge. There's not a white border on the edges of that, but there's a white border around the tops, most of the sides, and the bottom of that card. And then the same thing with the other 4x6 card. The photos run off the bottom, covering up the white border. So it's truly an element, like a design element, but I'm not so strict about it that I won't allow myself a little bit of wiggle room. So that's just kind of my thought. And then I always print my photos 4x6 with the white borders. And if I do like 2 3x4 photos on a 4x6 picture, so I can cut it apart, I always make sure that there's a white border around each of the photos. I just like having that white border. It's very much a personal choice, but that's something that I really like. I'm sorry if you guys can hear the dishwasher, it just popped on, and I'm sitting in my kitchen doing this voiceover. So this is pretty much how this layout's going to go. I cut apart that little speech bubble and just use the bottom portion of it on this card down here. I wanted to kind of block out the other car that was in the background, and then also kind of use this as a little caption spot for this photo. So at this point in time, this was Kaylin's last couple weeks of preschool. And what I would do is I would pick Kaylin up from preschool around lunchtime. I would eat lunch with him, and then I would take him to my friend's house, and he would spend the last 2 to 3 hours of the afternoon with her while we were waiting for Ernest to get off of work to go pick him up. So we had many a days where I would pick him up, we would eat a little picnic lunch in the car, and then I would take him over to her house. I was trying to make sure that we weren't eating out every day, so just having this little picnic lunch was really a nice moment. His preschool was less than a mile from my job, and then her house was about 2 or 3 miles from there, so we had a good amount of time to just kind of sit and relax, and it was kind of a nice break from the day because there were no electronics, we weren't sitting there watching anything, we were just literally talking to each other, and we had the back of my car open, so we were just kind of sitting on, we had folded down the back seats, so we were just sitting there with the back hatch open so we could just kind of look out and see what was going on as well. Had a little table there with a napkin set out. It looks like a little tablecloth. So I love those times. We really just enjoyed ourselves, and I think it was really special just the time that we got to spend together doing that, because that's not really an everyday thing. But for us, for about 2 weeks, it was an everyday thing, and I really enjoyed it. All right, just put a couple word stickers there, word strips. So I have like 10 of these word strip pages because I have a full set, and then I got a couple of extra pages in I think a rack that someone sent me. So I've got a whole bunch of those pages, and I'm determined to at least finish one page. It's the same saying on every page, just in different colors. And so as you can see, this blue one, it's almost entirely finished, but not quite there yet. So I am determined that before I'm done with this kit, I will have finished at least one of those full pages. I love those word stickers. I think they're really pretty. They have like aqua, gray, yellow, and pink, I believe, are the colors. So I like the colors that they come in. All right, so this is one of my new favorite pens. I talked about it in my last process video. These are the Pilot Friction erasable pens. That's what they're called. And you can get them I think you can either get them, it's labeled as like a pen, or one's labeled as a marker. I haven't quite figured out the difference between the two because I think it's the same point size. But I don't know if it's just how the package is labeled or whatnot. But I have 2 different packages from 2 different places, and they're just 2 different sets of colors. So I'm really enjoying those. I have a whole bunch of different colors in them. I think I have about 10 different markers or pens, whatever you want to call them, because they're really pens, to be honest with you. But they're erasable, and it is really nice erasable. It's not just, it doesn't make me think of like the old erasable pens. It actually is a pretty good erasable pen. Alright, just trying to figure out what I want to do here. These are just some random photos. So I already told you about the picnic photo, the picture of Kalen with his face painted, and then the 2 pictures above that. They were on different days, but at the same thing. I think it was every Friday evening for like 2 months. Maybe it was May and June or something like that, or maybe it was April and May. At one of our local malls here, they had kind of a festival in their parking lot where you could go, and they would have live music, and they would have games to play. They had face painting. A lot of the times they had food trucks, and they would have like snow cone machines out there and stuff like that. Well, it's not a very busy mall, so the festival was never busy, and so Kaylin and I would go up there. We went up there probably 3 or 4 Fridays. We would go on the nights or the evenings that Ernest would work late on a Friday. So we would go up there, just spend some time up there, and then come on home. It was just something different to do, something kind of fun. So that's what those photos are from. And then there's just an up close picture of Ernest sitting outside. I believe we were eating lunch one day, and he just snapped a picture of himself outside. And then the very bottom left photo is just a picture of Kaylin with a paper airplane that he and I made. He has a book of paper airplane instructions, and they're very complex, like real complex. You have to use a couple different pieces of paper and glue them together and all of these things, and this is the one. I think this is probably the simplest airplane, and it took us probably over an hour to put together, so it was kind of fun that we have that. That may be the only airplane we have successfully built out of that book that actually flew. So we've built a couple of them, but most of them have not been successful flyers. So it's kind of funny to have that one there. Alright, just still working my way through all the different embellishments, and this is typically how I do my project life if you haven't been a subscriber for a while, or if you just don't remember how I do my project life because I've been away for about a month and a half actually. well, before January anyways. I've been pretty consistent since January started. But I like to do all my cards and get everything, all my pictures pretty much glued down, and then I like to move on to embellishing. And I like to do the entire page at one time. To me, I like working on the whole thing together because I can really see what I feel like looks well together, and I can really kind of keep an eye on the balance as well as the color. I love how some people zoom in and they do one card at a time, but my brain really does not function well that way. I would constantly have to be looking at the other pages. And it also helps that whenever I find one thing that fits well, if I need to cut half of it off or, I don't know, use just a piece of it like this banner, that heart banner at the bottom like I did there, I still have the extra offcut pieces that I can use on different parts of the layout and just kind of keep it coordinating as well as make it flow very well from one card to the next. So I have that one card with the bow on it. I think it's just a really cute filler card. It's kind of a random bow on that card, but I just think that the pink and kind of that red, tomatoey red color there just really look pretty together, and it fits well with the colors on the rest of the layout. I just think it's really a pretty bow filler card right there. So, and I don't know when I would use this bow otherwise, so I figured might as well include it here. Just going through a couple more things that I have here in my stash kit that I'm trying to figure out if I want to, how I want to put them on this layout. I pulled out these Tim Holtz word stickers here. I want to say it's their Small Talk collection, I think. Chit Chat. I think it's Small Talk. And so I just put a couple of those stickers up there at the top, bringing in a few black elements on the rest of the layout. That title, Picnic Lunch, was very dark and very bold, and so I liked having a few more of those other elements across the page, and I put 3 of those, or 3 sections of those. Now I do have a journaling card here, and it just says this moment, but I'm just going to cut out some of these journaling lines from another card and use that as a space for me to do my journaling. And I'm just kind of giving you a brief overview of all the different photos on this layout. As you can see, I also like to use the Project Life cards to cut up, and all of those things that I'm stacking up right now are cut apart pieces. So I think I cut apart like 3 different Project Life cards to make this layout. So not only did I use Project Life cards on the layout, but I also cut apart other ones to use them as well. So I'm definitely getting my use out of this pile of his Studio Calico Project Life cards. And I don't mind cutting them apart. I'd rather cut them apart and use them than have them sitting there for years and years and years. So just going to do my journaling here, and this pretty much is the last thing that I'm going to do on this layout. But I will make sure to have some still shots at the end. If you have been following me, I am in the middle of my kit review for the Wild Hair kits. I had purchased one of their deluxe kits, and she also is offering a 10% coupon code for anybody who also purchases a deluxe kit based off of my kit review. So make sure you go look at that video and look for that coupon code as well. And let me know if you guys have any questions. Those layouts using the Wild Hair kits, deluxe kit, will be starting later this week, so make sure you keep an eye out for those if that's something you are interested in seeing. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a great afternoon. Bye!